even think we're going to have an election,
90s.
Tim. I don't think we're going to have no election
You wanna
in
bet money?
2024. I'll bet.
How much? $100?
How much you got?
Not as much as you.
I'll bet big. I don't think we're going to have no election.
$1,000.
All right, I'll bet.
Shake
you.
hands.
I hate shaking hands. Go like this.
It's worth it. Oh, that was a good one.
$1,000. So if we have an election 2024, you're going to give me $1,000.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Jake, does she have it?
Yeah.
Does she have? You don't have like a Britney Spears relationship with her, right? She has control of her money.
I got $1,000, but
Okay.
you're going to have to pay me $1,000 when we do not have no election.
I would be delighted.
Well,
and I'll buy you a nice dinner on top of that.
Why do you think there won't be an election?
Because I think the corruption is just beginning to come out, and I think it's going to avalanche the corruption of the Biden administration and the money they took. First, it's going to be about Ukraine and Russia, then it's going to go into China, then it's going to go into the DOJ, and it's going to be like a big old avalanche.
That would prompt an election.
Huh?
That would prompt an election.
No.
I'll stop that right there. So, Rosanne is on to something, right? That's Rosanne Barr. Everybody knows who she is. So, she says there will not be an election. I agree with her. I agree with her for the most part, right? Because there's a couple of reasons. One, I watched I'll link the report from a group of psychics called Farsight, who remote viewed the 2024 elections. And they basically said the same thing that Rosanne said. And, I think they're a pretty credible group of remote viewers. So, and I agree. Not only that, not just remote viewing, but with pure analysis, there will not be a 2024 election. And even if there is, let's say there is one, it won't matter. Because by the time you get to 2024, the environment on the ground nobody will care. I don't really think, I think, and we'll be able to tell as we progress toward 2024 elections. I mean, I think you're going to see an upheaval, for like Joe Biden definitely won't be around. So you'll start to see it break apart. You'll start to see people like Joe Biden fall to the wayside. Jim Crow Joe. I have to say that any black person that ever voted for Joe Biden, I gotta be cool about what I say, because YouTube, they strike my channel. They filter everything I put up, and they monitor my channel and strike it for anything. They'll strike it for anything. They took down my other channel. But Jim Crow Joe, any black person that votes for a proponent of Jim Crow and the KKK and stuff like that, well, I guess in a sense it's self-explanatory, right? I don't have to call you names, right? I don't have to call you names, and you are what you are, right? I could call you an imbecile, or call you stupid or whatever, right? I mean, but I'm not, because basically, nobody in that, you don't see any other groups doing that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, if a person was a Nazi, right? You don't see like Jewish people going to, would take like a person from the Nazi era who was a card-carrying Nazi, and then vote for them for office. You don't see that kind. You would never see that kind of thing happening. But you see that kind of thing happening with black people and Joe Biden. For example, here's a KKK Nazi, Joe Biden, right, who eulogized Strom Thurmond and was in support of segregation, but you have black people who voted for him 3 times in mass amounts, like 95, 99%. I think that's self-explanatory, that something's wrong with black people in the United States of America, right? And there's only one cure for it, and it's not elections. But I'm going to have to leave that there. You see, it's better to learn from what's going to happen than me, pontificating about shit on the internet. But Rosanne's right. There's going to be some issues, right? And so, I think that, you know, elections won't matter. You know, even if they hold elections, you know, the shit that they're starting with Russia and China, etc., will definitely be accelerated at that point. And so, you know, you're going to see the fallout from that. You're going to see the fallout from, you know, just the political, you know, corruption in the United States. She's right. Where, I mean, black people figure out they had no political capital. They blew it. You know, they don't have any idea how to do, you know, social dynamics and politics in the United States, or anywhere in the world. I think Neely Fuller said it best. He said the leaders of black people are white people, and until that whole structure paradigm changes, nothing will change. It would only get worse. You see. So he said, "Well, Barack Obama's a black leader." Yeah, that's not true. There are no such thing as black leaders. And so, and they'll start to, you know, they're starting to realize that, and then, you know, not just in the United States but across the world, there's no such thing as black leaders. That's a joke. That's a sick joke, like the Joker, right? And so, you'll start to see this whole thing fall apart. You see, the whole structure, right? The Martin Luther King talked about that, right? So Rosanne Barr is correct. Right, there's going to be some issues, you know, by 2024 election time. Not to mention Trump. You know, I probably spoke on what I think is going to happen with him before, but I'm not going to reiterate it in this one. I think it's self-explanatory, or the writing's on the wall. I don't know if it's self-explanatory, but I think the writing's on the wall as far as Trump, right? A better way to put it. Like, you can see that that's going to be problematic, and the people that support Trump, you know, is going to be problematic. Not to mention, like, I'll put it like this. I wanted to touch on this in another, but I'll touch on this real quick. This whole UFO thing that you're seeing in Congress is part of the whole Trump thing, right? Because a lot of people, you don't pay attention, you don't know what's going on. So, but you don't realize that Donald Trump started that. He passed a bill. He signed a bill before he left office last time to start UFO disclosure. He also basically legalized hemp, cannabis. And so what you see taking place is a low level, that UFO is not what you think it is, right? Like, it's a government operation, one, and two, it's a low level civil war, right? You have two factions, right? Trying to control technology, you see, and trying to control advanced technology, which they have been given by the Antichrist. You see, they've been allowed to, you know, you have one group, it's sort of been allowed to propagate the technology to take control, and this is an Antichrist agenda, right? And so then you have the other group who doesn't have that much access to the technology, you know, the Donald Trump faction, right? So they want to bring some of this out in the open so that they can get their hands on the technology, you see? And so what you have is infighting, right? Because the people with the technology, with the advanced technology, and that are closest to these, to the Antichrist and, you know, the alien overlord, they you know, they have the power. And so now you're seeing a civil war and a power structure. That's what inside the power structure. If you want another example of that, I'm going to say this and I'm going to go. Think about slavery, right? What sparked the Civil War? Was it because white people in America are humanitarians? Hell no. That's the farthest thing in the world from the truth. Right? What sparked the Civil War was the fact that the white people, you know, in the South controlled the slaves with the slave force, which gave them access to free labor, and the tunes, you know, in modern terms would be in the, you know, to the tune of, you know, trillions of dollars, right? So they had a workforce, a slave workforce, which they were able to amass huge amounts of money, and they were able to tip the power scales in the United States in their favor. So the people and the white people in the North said, well, we don't want them having all of that power. We don't want, so it was an infighting amongst white people, had nothing to do with white people being humanitarians at all, because they're not. So, and that's not what that was about. It was about, the Civil War was about them, who was going to have, you know, the monetary power, right? Who was going to be the power brokers and leader? Was it going to be the white people in the South or the factions in the North? That's what the Civil War was about. They could give a damn about what happened to the black people. And if you don't know that, you're just stupid. You know what I mean? It's really no time. We're in the last few, you know, we're in the end game, right? So there's no use of mincing words. You're just stupid if you don't understand that. I'm not going to give you a history lesson on the Civil War. And so what you see happening with this whole UFO thing, you could use the Civil War and slavery and the control of the slave as an example of what's going on with the technology, right? And there are many articles. I'll post some links, right? This is not like new information. It's just that people don't pay attention. They think everything's a joke, right? Everything's connected, right? I don't want to make this too long, but everything's connected in the universe. And if you don't understand that, you understand nothing. It's all connected. Nothing's happening, you know, that's not connected to something else. You see? So if you think, well, that has nothing to do, these UFO shit in Congress, that has nothing to do with me, you're stupid. The UFO shit in Congress has nothing to do with, you know, really American politics. Okay, you're stupid. Aliens are not real. They have nothing to do with what goes on the planet Earth. You're extra stupid. And you don't read the Bible. Because if you did, and you believe what you said you believed, then you would have read the Bible, all of it. Right? You would have been curious enough to go get the books that they've taken out and read all of it. Ezra, right? The Apocrypha, you name it. Right? And you would have figured out that it's all connected. You see? The Bible, Donald Trump, politics, America, slavery, black people, right? It's all interconnected, and you just don't understand the underlying connections. You can't connect the dots, but they are there, you see? The dots are there, and they're not really hidden. It's just that people don't pay attention. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to go. There's only one way out of this. You see? There's only one way out of this. At this point. I'm not going to say what it is. I'll leave that to your imagination. Or your ability to connect dots. You see? There's only one way out. There is no other way out. Trust me, I've looked at it 6 ways this Sunday. Black people, you know, I mean, in a sense, like, I mean, you can look at black people as an example of that, right? They try to get from up under this thing. Well, Martin Luther King couldn't do it. Malcolm X couldn't do it. Congressional Black Caucus can't do it, right? Barack Obama definitely can't do it. A KKK member like, you know, Jim Crow Joe definitely can't do it for you, right? Oprah can't do it for you. Nobody can get y'all from up under this thing. You see? There's only one way out, right? There's only one way out. Doesn't matter whether you're in South America or Africa or Baltimore or Compton or Chicago or Houston or Denver It's only one way out of this, people. Right? Now, whether you realize that and act accordingly, well, that's here or there, right? But I wouldn't waste my energy. Like me, I don't waste my energy on certain shit. Generally, like, I don't vote. Because you're not going to vote your way out of what's about to happen. You see? Your picture of Barack Obama on your wall not going to save you. The picture of white Jesus on your wall definitely ain't going to save you. Right? The picture of Joe Biden ain't going to help you. You see? Your prayers, right? What does the Bible say? The Lord does not hear sinners, will not save you. Now, that's not me saying it. That's the Bible, right? It said God does not hear sinners. And we all know Americans are the biggest sinners on the planet. So no one's listening to you with your lies and your hypocrisy and your denial and your tattered Bibles, right? No one's listening. There is no God that is listening to you. You see, you are godless people. You know, in a lot of cases, these people, their God is Satan, the devil, the Antichrist. That's your God, right? Why? Because he tells you could do anything. The God of the Bible of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has rules. The God of the earth, it says in the Bible, the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. You see, the Antichrist and his governments, right, and his people. These people are his people. You are the people of the Antichrist. You see, why? Because you say anything goes. There are no rules. The Bible doesn't matter. Why read that? Who cares about prophecy, laws, structure, right? I'm a feminist. I'm on Instagram, right? I sell my vagina on Instagram, right? Women, feminists, turn your children into gangbangers and cucks like Adam 22 and degenerates and all kinds of things. You know, so it's all out of order. It's out of whack. There's only one way out, right? It's only one way out. Even Rosanne Barr, she's seen it, right? That this thing is going to come apart. So, anyway, that's all I got.